greensandmachines.com.
Welcome back, viewers. A few years ago, I bought a bunch of unroasted coffee beans, or green coffee, and I demonstrated how easy it is to roast the coffee beans using a popcorn maker. If you haven't watched that video, I'll put a link to it in the description. At the end of the video, my popcorn maker stopped working, and I couldn't figure out why. I looked up the problem on the internet and got some answers. These popcorn makers, if unmodified, have an overheat switch that trips if the unit gets too hot. This would explain why my popcorn maker refused to turn itself back on. Now there are a few ways around this. One is to modify the unit to remove or short out the switch, which I have not done, and the other method would be to wait several minutes for the popcorn popper to cool down to reset the switch. This option being easier and a bit time consuming, and I'll explain why. Aside from now having an operational popcorn popper again, I learned a few other tricks to make my roasting a bit easier. First has to do with load capacity. Before, I would load in a bunch of beans and agitate the beans with a whisk. I found if you used the little butter scooper that came with the popcorn popper to measure out the green beans, it loads in the perfect amount to where the airflow from the machine itself is enough to keep the beans suspended. No external agitation required. I can now sit back and watch the beans fly out of the popcorn maker. Yeah, I still need to account for the flying beans by tossing them back in if they escape. When roasting beans, they first produce a lot of chaff, which flies out of the popcorn machine at the beginning of the roast. As the beans begin to darken, that's when they'll start cracking and creating smoke. This would be the first crack, indicating the lightest of roasts. I wait a bit longer so the beans can get darker. The stage I stop at is during the second crack, which is between medium and dark roast. You'll know that you're there as the beans turn very dark, start cracking a lot, and produce a lot more smoke than before. Once happy with the roast time, the popcorn maker is unplugged and the beans are dumped into a colander. In the colander, the beans are swirled around to help them cool down. At this stage, the beans are still roasting, even when warm. Once sufficiently cooled, the roasted beans can be placed into a storage container. Freshly roasted coffee beans do off-gas carbon dioxide, so this container needs to be able to vent. With this small amount of beans roasted, it's time for round 2. Well, maybe not. I found that waiting about 10 to 15 minutes between each batch in the summer heat helps stop the popcorn maker from overheating. This might not be a problem in winter, though. Stay tuned to see if that makes a difference. After 24 hours, the beans can be used. Most of the time I grind them up at work and enjoy them in the coffee maker there. But if I'm at home, I like grinding them with my hand grinder and using this Maka pot. Yeah, it feels very hipsterish, but it gets the job done, and it makes a nice cup of joe. I'll put a link in the description below to these items I bought, if you want to use them yourself. If you like this coffee roasting video and want to see more about roasting coffee, such as the beans I'm roasting and coffee taste tests, leave a comment in this video letting me know and hit that subscribe button. We'll see you in the next video.